Okay, so excuse number one, the garbage truck is too loud. Excuse number two, it's hot as hell and it's too hot to record. Excuse number three, the air conditioning is too loud. I have turned it off, but it was too loud. Excuse number four, I haven't prepared enough for this video and I recorded it twice and it didn't come out the way I wanted. Excuse number five, something else that's completely bullshit. Excuse number six, something else that's completely bullshit. So I say all of this because I wonder if it's familiar to you guys. Tell me in the comments below. Any of those excuses sound familiar? Or do you have other excuses that you've made that are different based on your own circumstance? So here's our third attempt at this video. Again, here are my notes. This video is about Ali Abdaal and how even he doesn't have his shit together after becoming an 8-figure entrepreneur with multiple lines of businesses, becoming a New York Times bestseller, having 6.3 million subscribers on YouTube. And he just recorded a 34-minute confessional video where he talks about how he doesn't even like making YouTube videos. He's like a guru in the productivity space. He's got a team of people behind him. From the outside looking in, his channel is amazing. He's covered a lot of ground. He's basically a household name when it comes to YouTube. But watch that video, and I'll put a link for it in the description, and read through some of the comments, because I think what you will come to find is that despite the fact that people look well comported from the outside looking in, there's still a lot behind the scenes that we don't see. And there's a lot of messiness. There's a lot of self-doubt. There's a lot of negativity. And as Ali put it, a lot of resistance when it comes to doing the thing that we know we want to do. So in this video, I want to share really just some of the insights that I've taken away after having watched the video. There's really 3 big things, I think, that aren't really talked about all that much. The first is that we are fundamentally the same. Me and you, Ali Abdaal, any of the high-tier YouTubers that you see out there, the people that have got the millions of views that you think just have everything figured out. The truth is, nobody has shit figured out. We look like we do. We come off like we do. We sometimes sound like we do. But just know that every time you consume a video from me or from Ali or from anyone else out there, it's usually gone through a filter. Edits. You know, like all of the crap and minutia has been taken out so that you get a more finely tuned, well-polished product. And that oftentimes leads us to believe things that aren't true about people, is that people are just so much more sophisticated than we are, or they have all of these really great systems that they've developed to make their content creation process easy. But when you watch Ali's video, you realize, and these are his words, he basically says 95% of the videos he's made, he has had a lot of resistance when it comes time to record. Like, he's not comfortable. Like, he just can't do it. Like, there's anxiety or apprehension or fear of judgment or overthinking, like, or he maybe feel like he's being too repetitive or not providing enough value. Does any of that sound familiar? Because that's probably you, and that's most definitely me every week when I go to record. There's so much resistance. There's so much, I don't think I can do this. I don't think anyone's going to care about this topic, or I don't want to put in all this work on this video that's only going to get a marginal amount of views. Like, there's 1,000 different things we tell ourselves for why we shouldn't do the thing. And a lot of it is couched in fear. And it's all just a bunch of crap at the end of the day. So I want you to find some solace in the fact that there are the Ali Abdaals of the world who do not have it all figured out, despite the fact that he's a productivity guru, despite the fact that he's an 8-figure entrepreneur who's been on YouTube for 8 years with millions of subscribers and tens of millions of views. It doesn't mean shit. So if you're feeling that way, welcome to the club. I mean, you're in good company. We all feel the same thing. So let's all normalize these feelings, these resistance feelings that come to us whenever we want to record a video. I'm gonna look at my notes because I don't give a shit. Number 2, sharing your weakness in your videos like Ali did doesn't actually take away your authority. It actually builds your authority. It builds credibility. And if you haven't made a video yet where you're just like fundamentally you and you're kind of just riffing like what I do sometimes, and you're just trying to be a person and relatable, I would encourage you to give it a shot. It's going to be uncomfortable. It's going to be hard to do. You're going to feel so vulnerable posting it. But in my estimation, your audience will connect with it far better than if you post some highly produced, highly edited, highly scripted video that, you know, just misses the mark because we're just not good enough yet at making that kind of content. And I think what's great about Ollie is, you would say he's put himself in a position where he can make that raw and authentic and vulnerable video. He's got his 6.3 million subscribers. He doesn't have to prove himself to anybody at this point because he's had the success. But here's what you might not consider is, like, you don't have to prove yourself to anybody. Do you? I mean, do you think you do? That's a question. Let me know in the comments. Do you feel like in your YouTube pursuit, you have to show somebody something? You have to prove something to somebody. Maybe it's to yourself. Maybe it's to your friends or family. Maybe it's to make a point to other people that you're worth something, or that you can succeed somewhere where they can't. But you don't have to prove anything to anybody. You can show up however the hell you want to show up. And if being real and vulnerable and authentic is something you have an inclination to do, then do it. And your people will find that video and they'll connect with you as a person. And it's just really refreshing to watch Ollie do that after 8 years, because you would think, and this is probably the most, and I don't watch a ton of Ollie videos, but it's the most I've seen Ollie be vulnerable in a video. When you look at those comments, people really appreciate it, because most times he shows up, you know, like he's got the really good editing, really good scripting, and like it's just a finely produced product. But then you watch this video and it's 34 minutes of him rambling, and it's genuinely a ramble. And you're like, okay, like he kind of goes off on these tangents. And so at some points, you know, I'll be honest, like I wasn't all that interested in some parts of the video, but I was glued to it because you never really watch somebody free associate like he did in that video. Just like one thought to the next. And maybe he had some bullets, but give yourself permission to do it. He's doing it. I'm doing it. And, you know, he probably doesn't give a shit. I mean, he probably does, but he's probably had to push hard through to get to that point where he doesn't give a shit. Just like how I'm doing it right now. Like, of course I care about this video and it getting views. Of course I care about the impact. Of course I care how I come off. I care that people might watch this and be like, Ty's just a rambling moron. But at some point you have to push past that and say, I'm going to do it anyway, because there are other people out there that might benefit from it. There are other people out there that maybe didn't see the Ollie video that could really benefit from watching it. So if anything, stop watching my video and go watch Ollie's, because you'll gain a lot more from it. But this is just me sharing my perspective of it. Here's my third insight, is that screw all the guru advice. Any video that I've made about retention or hooks or tips to blow up your watch time, like there's a time and a place for that. But if you are still in a place where you're struggling with consistency and you're struggling with motivation and you worry about impact and you worry about views, all those guru tips you can just throw out the window. They're meaningless. They're just of no importance when it comes to the number one thing. I think that the biggest secret for YouTube growth, and this is going to sound really cheesy and cliche, but it's cultivating the skill of persevering, of pushing through, of determination, of having grit. And it's, in other words, it's like, how do you build the skill of pushing through the boredom and the monotony and the tedium of doing the same kinds of things every single week, and doing it in this mode of ambiguity where you don't know if what you're doing is producing any value at all, right? So picture this. Every week you show up to ideate, to script, to film, to edit, to post. And through that whole process, you have no idea if that video is even going to do well at all. You might think you do, but at the end of the day, who the hell knows, right? And guess what? You get to do that every week, every month for the next 5 years. That's kind of a shitty headspace to be in. So the question is like, how do you elevate yourself above that crappy headspace, knowing that you're going to be in this like endless loop of never knowing if what you're doing is going to have any meaningful impact? I mean, I wish I had an answer for you. So that's why I think this third insight is important, because it just goes to show you that someone like Ollie, who you would think after 8 years with a team of people behind him would have solved this problem, would have cracked this nut, especially being in the productivity space. It's like, setting up a Trello board or a Notion template that helps you guide your content creation and automating as much as possible and being more hands-off with the business. But that's not always the case. These tools aren't silver bullets. They don't solve for lacks of motivation. They don't solve for creative droughts. They don't solve for not feeling like you're in the mood to film. That has to come from within. You can't reach to external things to solve those problems. So how do you build something inside of you that you can lean on to help you through those moments of resistance, those moments of, I don't want to do this because I'm not good enough? That's something I think we all need to cultivate. We all need to spend time with that and iterate on that. And it's probably the hardest thing. But that's what I took away from Ollie's video. And just really quickly, while we're on this topic of vulnerability and openness, here are my notes for the video. And as I mentioned, this is my third time filming this. I show you this because I want you to see the level of preparation I put into this video, not as a brag, because I don't think I prepared very much at all for this video. I watched his video yesterday. I posted something in my school about it. I got a lot of people commenting on it, and that was my cue that I should probably make a video on it. So here's my hook. I had Claude help me write the hook right here, and I probably butchered it. I mean, I definitely butchered it because I started talking about excuses first, showing you the garbage truck. And then down here is my bullets, my 3 insights. And I sort of just ad-libbed and went off the riff. I didn't even script out my closing CTA, which is to point you to another video I did on perfectionism and purpose. But I show you that because I want you to just know that sometimes it's okay to scramble. And if I'm being honest, I've been scrambling week to week for the last 12 months. I don't have a good system for content creation, and it doesn't look like Ollie does either. Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. But that's okay. You don't have to have a great system. It helps to work towards a great system, but you don't have to have one in order to produce content. And as long as you're trying, as long as you're putting in a good faith effort and keeping your viewer in mind and trying to be helpful in some way, that is the absolute best and the most that you can ask of yourself. I also want you to know that this video is being shot on an iPhone 15, and I've made about 104 videos, all long form and live streams, and all of them have been shot, for the most part, on my iPhone 15. So if you're new and you haven't started, or if you're of the mindset of, if only I get my new piece of hardware, my new mic or my new camera or my new software, and once I get those things, I'll be able to make my first video, I would just tell you that you are creating excuses for yourself. And this is the tough love portion of the video. Stop making excuses for yourself. The moment you get that new piece of hardware, you're going to create another excuse. And then once that thing gets resolved, you're going to create another excuse. We are so good at justifying reasons for not doing things. And it's all couched in fear, and it's bullshit. So figure out what it is that's holding you back. And I'll take a page out of my very first video on YouTube. Write it on a piece of paper. All the excuses that you have. Go outside and light it on fire. And just let it evaporate into smoke. Because that's all it is. It's a bunch of bullshit. So stop procrastinating. Stop creating excuses. And just get the thing done, and you'll start to feel a lot better after having gotten started. And just know that it might get a little bit easier, but you're always going to be met with these feelings of self-doubt. And if you don't believe me, watch Ali's video and just know that it is perfectly okay to feel these things, the resistance, the uncertainty, the ambiguity, the perpetual state of never knowing if you're on the right track. Get comfortable with it and keep trying anyway. So that's it. I know it's a bit heavy. Watch the video over here if you want to see me chat about purpose and perfectionism in the woods. And let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll talk to you soon.